The Listener Series. You know the drill. Competitive wild Hearthstone with a fun twist. I am currently sitting in 11th place. So this week, I'm going to need a good showing if I'm going to sneak into the top 8. Win or lose though, the games this week are going to be spicy, so let's check them out. The deck building challenge for this week's video is simple. This week is no text week, meaning minions in our decks are not allowed to have text, and we must run at least 15 minions. The other half of the deck slots are fair game.
Round 1. Fight!
Gul'dan versus NEMZ.
Week 4 of the Listener Series, no text week, not to be confused with the week where I have to run 0 mana minions. I'm just choosing to run those as my no text minions. Here I'm very sad I have Lord Jaraxxus because I full mulligan for Shadow Council. Speaking of Shadow Council, there it is. I'm a little sad that I'm going to have to lose my Jaraxxus to Shadow Council, but I think that's probably okay because here I have what I can only imagine is a high roll. I've never actually done this in testing, so I'm like only so sure that this is going to work, but the idea is that you play Solarium into a full hand of demons and then those demons don't get discarded, which is pretty sweet. So this is now how I will win the game. These 8 cards. If these 8 cards do not kill my opponent, I'm in trouble. I got some pretty interesting stuff here. Some cheap stuff, some taunts, a scaly boy, and then a couple of big dudes. Here I choose to play Blood Imp plus 2 mana taunt. The reason I do this is because Blood Imp scales health. And the only reason I ever lose with this tempo and this value is to Dark Skies, which is in his deck. Here's a little bit unfortunate. He plays an 8/8. Probably a card I should have ran in my list, maybe. I don't know. Play as much stats as I can, hit him in the face, and get the juiciest 33% odds ever. This means you can't just trade that. He has to trade and have a way to kill it. He does with the Mortal Coil, but it's still 1 less mana. He could be doing something else. Here with 4 mana left, I'm not even sure what he can really do besides maybe play a Yeti. Speak of the devil. But this allows me to hit him for 10, which is very good, and play a 4 attack taunt, which is kind of a 5 attack taunt, because when it takes damage, it deals 1 to all enemies, which is convenient because it also goes face. So this thing will not only kill his 8/5, but will also damage him for 1. Very good start so far to this game. Here he's trading into the 5/7, which I can only imagine is for Dark Skies. I like hover over his hand. I'm like, he doesn't have enough cards. I was like, dude, you don't have enough cards. He could have tapped, I suppose, but he didn't. So I'm like, what are you going to do? Plays a Defile. So my board got full cleared, but he did Defile and Dark Skies to do it, which was pretty good. Here I was always playing the 3-cost minion, but I had a choice between the River Crocodile or the Defile. If I play the Defile, I get a 3 mana 5/7, which dies to a 7 mana hand to a Dark Skies. If I play the 2/3, he would have to tap or in other way get more cards before he can Dark Skies, which would allow him to develop less tempo. So I chose to play the 5/9 and the 2/3. Here he starts out with Twisting Knowledge to discover 2 random Warlock cards. Who knows? I could lose on the spot or not. He gets a Fellbolt, which technically is missing 1 damage because he could have sent that 1/1 face first, but if he stabilizes, that 1 damage won't ever matter. Here he plays a Taunt, which he got off of the random Warlock card generation, which is pretty funny. Here I play Backfire, looking for a 2 health minion so that I can Defile. And because I'm a god gamer, I hit it, which allows me to hit him for 5 and clear his board, which is very good. I chose to save these 0 mana 1/1s for Plague or the second Shadow Council, and to not let him have a touch target, and so I keep those in my hand. Here, if he has any answer to this 5/4, he's probably in a pretty good spot. But unfortunately for him, and fortunately for me, he does not. And so that does it for game 1. Warlock versus Warlock. I come on top with a bit of a Shadow Council high roll, I would assume. But hey, we take those.
Morgul versus NEMZ.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
All right. We got game 2 here. I have kept Servant and Earthen Might in my hand. Servant's actually a no-text minion that is an elemental, which would be pretty spicy if I coin it out and hit the Earthen Might on it. The only way he can kill this Servant when I coin it out is Drain Soul. And if he wants to play a Drain Soul at 30 life to kill my 2/3, so be it. He does not have that and instead plays another Servant, much like myself. He unfortunately doesn't have an Earthen Might to follow it up. I, of course, play my Earthen Might, make my card a Yeti, hit him for 4. Here I have a pretty interesting choice after he plays his other servant. Do I Storm Strike to kill both 2/3s, or do I Weapon to kill 1 and hit him for 5? I have chosen to Weapon and hit him for 5. The reason I do this is because now Drain Soul plus Trade does not kill my minion, where if I had a 4/5, it would do that. He, of course, has the Drain Soul, but he needs one more minion, which is a Defile. So again, my board is full cleared, but he's used 2 removals to do it. Here I have another choice. Do I play the 4-cost randomly generated elemental, or do I play 2 2/3s? I chose, after some thinking, to play the 4-cost elemental because it lines up really well into his Pit Fighter if he were to play it, and he just used 2 ways to kill it. On his turn 5, he plays Demonic Studies and tap. So now I can sink this extra damage from my weapon. So I hit it in the face, which allows me to hit him for 6. And then I spend 5 mana in the cleanest way possible, which is making 3 minions. High rolling a Death Rattle, deal damage on the way. You love to see it. I end up playing the 2/3 because it doesn't make the file any worse. He still needs a 2 attack, or rather a 2 health minion. Which he hits off of a Twisting Knowledge, which is okay. Second Defile gone. Set him to 8 with that deal 2, pretty spicy. But here it's looking really kind of suspect for me. I have continued to top deck spell removal, which I don't run very much of. I play the 2 minions I have left, hit the hero power button, and I'm just praying I somehow get there. But I don't have a way to ever deal 5. I can only ever deal 3. Fortunately for me, he deals 2 to himself. So now I have lethal with Storm Strike and Tidal Surge here. Also could have played the Torrent. But this worked fine. And that is the end of game 2. 30 health to 0. Alright, game 3. I have just my Weapon Rogue left to win with. Knowing that, my opponent switches to his Aggro Druid, which I think is a very smart decision. I don't know if I ever win this matchup. It seems pretty abysmal. He goes 1 into 2. I have 1 into nothing. My hand is Secret Passages and a bunch of weapon stuff. I choose to kill his 2/3, but I'd much rather have played a 2/3 of my own. Here he decides on turn 3 he'll just win the game, making 3 3/3s and hitting me for 3. And my hand continues to be absolutely nothing besides weapon stuff with no weapon. Here my only choice is to start trying to remove this stuff. Hope he whiffs some draws, whiffs some plays. He does not. He plays a Yeti. I now have to hope and pray for Paralytic Poison. My only out, I think at this point, is Paralytic Poison, either on the weapon or not, just to save some life. Unfortunately, I passage into 3 random no-text minions, which is not ideal. He now has 7 in play, and I'm at 11 health. He plays Composting, and Hero Power hits me for 8. And I have no healing in this deck, so I am pretty dead. I think from here I just lose to 3 Hero Powers, even if I were to clear his board, and he would have no cards. After passaging into 4 more no-text minions, I do the honorable thing, and I Sudoku into a Yeti on Yeti week. That was game 3. Alright, we got game 4. He has switched to his other non-Warlock deck, which is a Galakron Warrior. Fortunately, this game, instead of having to daggering into his 2/3, I can play my own 2/3. Here he plays Conditioning, with the idea being that now all of his 2/3s and his 3/4s and his 4/5s trade up into the minions 1 health higher. Here I play another minion, clear his minion. A key with this deck is to just save as much life as you can early, because eventually your weapon will go from 2 attack to 12 attack really quickly. This turn was absolutely disgusting. By playing the 3/4, trading the 2/3 the last turn, I can now Paralytic, which will make my 2/2 weapon a 3/3 weapon that is immune when I attack, which allows me to kill this 4/5 very cleanly and hit him in the face for 3. Love to see it. His answer to my 3/4 is a Ritual Chopper, thus being part of the Galakron Warrior package. It's actually a pretty interesting deck idea for this week. I assumed Galakron would be dead because you don't have any of the minions, but in Warrior, you have the weapon and the Awaken spell, so you can actually invoke yourself 4 times. Here I decide, with a lot of thought, to either playing Cunning Class or Yeti. I chose to play the Yeti and hit the Dire Maul, because this way Bash +1/3 +1 attack weapon cannot kill my Yeti, so I'll probably sink 4 and protect my face. Here he plays a Yeti that's been to the gym, and I'm left with no choice but to play a cutting class, praying for potions, or poisons rather. Don't hit him, so I play Passage looking for a deadly or a silver leaf poison. I am lucky enough to hit both a silver leaf and a deadly, which makes my 3-1 weapon a 5-3 weapon that draws a card and is immune when attacking. I don't kill his 5-6 though, I just go face. He's getting kind of low, and I'm hoping to draw some more poisons and kind of just hit him in the face. He chooses to trade, play a raptor, and play a buffed spider tank. At this point, I have entirely lost the board and will never get it back, but I don't know if that matters. Start with a 0-mana cutting class. Absolutely the nuts again. Like 2 poisons. They're not both poisons, but 2 buffs is insane. All I have to do is figure out how much mana they play to know which minion I can buff with my oil. I have 9 attack. Very juicy. After playing these 2 cards, the only thing I had to think about was if he could theoretically kill me from hand, because he does run a charge in his deck, the spell, and he did conditioning minions. And he also has a ritual chopper. And I calculated he could get somewhere in the 20s, but never 29, so I set the weapon where it belongs, which is to the face. Bash is a great answer to my my 5-3 here. But keep in mind my weapon has 9 attack, so even just armoring up isn't enough. He needs a way to make 2 more mana, or 2 more armor. And he doesn't have it, so my very long, very buffed Swine Tusk Shank, which I definitely crafted specifically for this week, delivers me the week 4 victory, baby. Let's go. I needed this win, dude, because now I go from 11th. I go a little bit higher in the standings. A little bit higher. Approaching for top 8. GG's to Flavio. That will conclude the games for week 4 of the listener series. See you in week 5. And hey, if you liked that video, you should listen to Bob. Do what he says. He's a smart man. You can click here to subscribe, and you can click here to watch more videos. Peace.